yesterday? If you weren't here yesterday, you should be watching the video and taking the notes from yesterday. Okay. Keisha and I are starting on number 17. I'm sorry. Keisha, Brooklyn, and myself are going to work on 17. Anybody else working with us? Brian's working with us. Anybody else? Okay. Okay. So everybody else is working actively then on your own. Jeremiah, are you working on the Alex assignment? Okay. All right. So we always start is there a GCF? So is there something that will come out of all four terms? There's not a variable in all four terms, so I know there's not a variable. An easy one is, are they all even numbers? Because if they're all even numbers, 2 will come out of it. They're not there, right? 77 is odd. They don't all end in a 0, so 5 or 10 won't come out of it. They don't all end in a 5, blah, blah, blah. So, from what I can see, I don't see a common factor. Let's see, 7 will come out of 77 and 42, but not out of 60. I don't think there's a greatest common factor. If you ready to see one? Okay, so we're going to go with there not being a greatest common factor. First step, 2 groups. First step is 2 groups. So, are you following with us? You doing the Alex? Okay. Peyton, you doing Alex? I was finishing my one problem. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So now, once we group, then we go to step 2. What's step 2 say to do? Do you remember? Very good. Pull out the greatest common factor of each group. So the greatest common factor of 110 and 77. So here's the thing. I know 1 is 77, and I know 7 and 11. Is there a factor, or any of these factors in 110? I don't know. So I'm going to take 110 and divide it by 7 and 11. I think an 11 might be 11 times 10, so let's do it. 110 divided by 11, yeah, that's 10. So 11 is the greatest common factor numerically here, because 11 times 10 is 110. So I'm going to go ahead and put this greatest common factor. I'm going to go ahead and give myself my 2 binomials, because we know for now, that's going to be our answer, 2 binomials. How about the variables? What variables do they both have in common? Greatest common factor. B to the second, yes. B to the second. What's the greatest common factor of the second group? What do you think? Greatest common factor of the second group. 2 is a factor, but I think this one's bigger. I was going to think of the smallest number first. Yeah, 6. Now here's the trick about this one. This first one's negative. So what do we say if that first term there is negative? We make our factor, a greatest common factor, negative, right? So minus 6. Peyton? Yeah. So negative 6, negative 6. So far, so good? So this is the greatest common factor of the first group. This is the greatest common factor of the second group. What's step 4 say to do? Divide, right? We divide the first group by what? Yes, it's the greatest common factor of that group. In this case, it is 11b to the second power. So 110 divided by 11 is 10. B cubed divided by b squared is b. It's plus 77 divided by 11 is 7, and b squared divided by b squared is 1. I do need this work. It's very little work, but you won't get credit without that little bit of work. And that's your final answer. Any questions? Okay, so let's look at 21. Is there something we can pull out of all 4 terms? I know that there's not a variable. There's not a C in all 4 terms, so I can't pull out a variable. 10, only factors of 10 are 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. So that kind of, 2 is a factor of 24, but 2 is not a factor of 35. 5 is a factor of 34, but not as 24 or 84. So no greatest common factor. Okay? So what are we going to do? What's the first step after we decide if there's a greatest common factor or not? Group them. 2 groups. Second step after we group, I'm going to give myself my answer parentheses here. What's the next step? Pull the greatest common factor out of each group. So, smallest one, 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. I know what the greatest common factor is, I'm pretty sure. What's 84 divided by 12? Is 12 a factor of 84? 7, yes. So 12 is going to be our biggest factor numerically. And what's the variable common factor in that first group? C squared. There you go, Zion. Good job. Minus, not minus, I lied. Now, the greatest common factor of the second group, Kendall? 10 and 35? Okay, well, let's do it. 1 and 10 are factors of 10. 2 and 5 are factors of 10. That's it, right? 35. 1 and 35. And 5 and 7. So what's the biggest factor that they both have? Yep, that's it. That's all we're doing there. And we said that the sum of these greatest common factors is our first binomial term factor. So what's step 4 for you to do? Divide. What are you dividing? And we're dividing it by, the first GCF. So 24 divided by 12, C cubed divided by C squared. That's a minus, so we put a minus. 84 divided by 12, we've already done that math, it's 7. C squared divided by C squared. That's it. These steps are magic. You will follow them. Last one that we picked. Do you guys see any other that you want to do? We'll do them. I mean, I have things to grade, but I'm happy to work these with you. Is there anything we can take out of all 4 terms? Hint, hint, yes there is this time. Say again? Yes, for this. Not an x, because this one doesn't have an x. Our greatest common factor is going to be 4. So we're going to rewrite it. 4 times 8x cubed would be 32x cubed. Plus 4 times 2x squared is 8x squared. Plus 4 times 12 is 48, and x. 12x times 4 is 48x, plus 4 times 3 is 12. So this has to go in our answer, so I'm going to put my answer parentheses along with that greatest common factor. That has to go in your answer. If it doesn't go in your answer, you get it wrong, even though you've done all the work, okay? So I'm going to rewrite this. And now what are we going to do? Group. Very good. Group. 1 group, 2 groups. Now what are we going to do? Find the very good, find the greatest common factor of each group. So what's the greatest common factor of the first group? 2. And how about the variable? X squared. Very good. What's the greatest common factor of the second group? Very good. And we're going to add these together. That's a positive of 3. Okay. How do I find the second factor? The last binomial factor. Divide. What are we dividing by? Perfect. If you do it the same way every time, it's always that first number. You put in your first binomial. 8 divided by 2 is 4. X cubed divided by x squared. Remember, x over x cubed divided by x squared. So to simplify 1, just leave us an x. 2 divided by 2 is 1, x squared divided by x squared is 1, 1 times 1 is just 1. And that's a positive 1. That's it. How are you feeling about it? Better? Nice. If you did not follow along with this, I did record these 3 problems, so I'll post those on Canvas too. You're going to work some on your own now. A little quicker on your own, right? But with me, we're doing them together. Sure. Let me see what 3 is. ATQ is 36. Is it 36t squared, can you see it? Plus 2t plus 9. Is that right? Okay, so all we're doing on 1, 3, 5, and 7 are finding the greatest common factors. You don't have to factor it all the way, remember? This is the same as yesterday. So we would still group them. The greatest common factor here, what's the biggest number, 8 and 36, have as a factor? They do both have 2. Let's look at 8. 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Let's look at 36. How about 36? Does 36 have any of these factors? Not 8, right? How about 4? 36, so 1 is a factor, 4 is a factor, and 36 is 4 times 9. Does that make sense to you? So the greatest common factor of this group is going to be 4. What about the variables? Yep. So that's in the first group, and what's the greatest common factor of this one? Does 2 and 9 have anything in common besides 1? You can check it. 1 times 2 are the factors of 2, and the factors of 9 are 1 and 9, and 3 and 3. The only thing they have in common is 1, right? So we use the 1. Cool? Anybody else? 7? Will you read 7? This is 3. Will you read 7 out to me, Jason? They have anything in common? They don't all have an R. They would all have to have a factor of 7. We know these don't, so no greatest common factor. What do we do next, Keishan? Group. I assume it just says the factor is the direction. Is that correct? Yeah, that's it. Okay. After we grouped them. Okay. It doesn't matter. Comma or semicolon, sorry. No, because it's just, I mean, that's fine, you can do that, I wouldn't want semicolon. If you're finding the greatest common factor on a test or a quiz, let's put a comma or a semicolon, but yeah, I wouldn't turn it around. Yes, hurry back, it's 10:04, maybe your time out. So, looking for the greatest common factor in each group next, is that right, Jason? What's the greatest common factor in the first group? So for the numbers, it's 1, right? How about for the variables? R squared, very good, right? So 1, we could say 1R squared, but we don't want to say that. What's the greatest common factor of the second group? 9. But this one's negative, so we have to remember that we're going to do negative 9 here, right? So if this is a negative, your greatest common factor you pull out is going to be negative. Now what? Divide, yep. Divide the first term by its greatest common factor, or this is its greatest common factor. Oh, my bad, you're right, I forgot, yep. I thought we were factoring the whole thing. Yeah, you're right, all we're doing on 7 is listing the greatest common factors. So we're gonna do a comma or a semicolon there. You're right. I was trying to factor the whole thing. 19, yep, can you call it out to me? Okay. Is there something, so this is 19 you said? Is there something we can take out of all of them? No. So what do we do next? Step 1 says? Okay. What's step 2 say to do? Alright, and I'm going to put my DCF in my answer already. So what's the greatest common factor of the first group? Diane says 10. Yep. 10 what? S squared. Right. Not cubed, because this one doesn't have a cube. They both have 2 S's. They don't both have 3. Does that make sense? Just like that? Makes sense. Okay. What's the greatest common factor of this one? But this is negative, so we're going to make that minus 7. What do we do next? What's your step? We grouped. We found the greatest common factor of each group. We added them or subtracted them to get our first factor. Yes. Divide. What are we dividing? What are we dividing it by? Yes. 10 divided by 10 is 1. What's s cubed divided by s squared? S cubed divided by s squared. Yes. Yes. Because that's going to simplify to 1, that would simplify to 8. That's it. So we've done 5 or 6 of your homework problems. Just letting you know. It is 10:08. Yes. It is. Oh no, wait, it's not. We don't get out till 19, so you can go. Hurry. 10:09. It's exactly 10 minutes out. Just switched.